Jai Hind everyone, and welcome to Criminology live lecture. In the lecture 8, in part 1 and part 2 of lecture 8 of Criminology live lectures, we have been discussing about victims. Lastly, in part 2, we have discussed about victim vulnerability, victim facilitation, victim precipitation theory, also about repeat victimization, secondary victimization, and now onwards we will be studying on victim blaming. We will be discussing about victim blaming. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel, stay tuned to our criminology live lectures. I know this is a bit slow than normal, but I am focusing more on content uh, than presentation or than editing and other skills. So this is motto of our channel, to be more focused on the content of the video or content of the stream than going with the edit and presentation and other stuff. So please bear with that, and let's begin with victim blaming. So what is victim blaming? It occurs when responsibility for crime is shifted from the offender to the victim. Okay, when the responsibility of crime goes from the offender, actually the responsibility of crime should be on the offender, right? It must be on the offender, but due to some circumstances it happens that victim has become responsible for the offense. Okay, like in certain cases, in certain socio-economic condition, in but like socio-cultural conditions in India, it is even controversial, this concept or this such thinkings are controversial, but it is often seen that when sometimes women are harassed, and when women are assaulted or sexually remarked not well in open or maybe in workspace, it is said that it is done so because women sometimes wear clothes which were appealing, which were very revealing or something like that. Okay, some people argue in that way, which is not so, because in their process of if teasing or commenting on the modesty of that women, the offender is committing a crime. Okay, so it is up to the offender, the crime is up to the offender. It mustn't be onto the women what she is wearing or what she's like revealing. There is nothing to do with that. Okay, the offense is on the commentator who commented on that women. So victim, that particularly that woman, she shouldn't be blamed on anything. Okay, so some examples can be, why was she outside at night? Okay, if something happens, like if something not good happens with one girl or with one woman at night, people often says that why she is at night at that time, let's say at 11 p.m. Why she is at night at that time. It is not so. A women may need to go to or come from work at night like a man. There is nothing wrong in that. If a boy or man can go outside at night, a woman in any society, irrespective of the geographical location in the world, she can travel at night too, like a man. This is her fundamental right or natural right. Okay, so if something happens to her in that in such time, there is nothing to blame on her or questioning her, what are you doing outside during that time at night? No, it is that why some people are going to do something not good with her, why some people are that assaulting her or passing remark to her or doing something which is not good as per law with her. So in society, people often to shift the blame from the offender, okay, from the perpetrators to the victim. So this is what called victim blaming. It often happens in case of women or girls working in workspace related to their attire, what they are wearing, and related to their timing, and maybe with their words, gesture, or something like that. Someone, Jingleberry, said hi, hello, Mr. Jingleberry. So another example, that if someone is being seated, um, uh, if let's say one person is being seated by another, the question may rise, why one need to trust the another person, the person who is being seated, like why you need to trust that person. The question arises like that. It may be as a question of philosophy, but it mustn't be a question from the point of view of criminology. Maybe a research question, but if we address such question from justice point of view, or from the point of view of criminal justice, it leads to victim blaming. Okay, there may be some question arises like, why don't they report earlier, why they need to report it earlier. Okay, in some offense, like if there is vulnerability of theft in such neighborhoods, and everyone knows about it, and something that has actually happened in one night, and people are saying that if we go to police station, and the police their replies that in such a way that, why you didn't report us earlier, we could have increased the petrol. Okay, so police shouldn't say like that. Police shouldn't blame the victim itself. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Jingleberry, you are watching. Thank you for watching. We are teaching the victimology lesson in the criminology series. Thank you for watching. And if you have some questions, you can write to me. We will be discussing it together. Thank you for watching. So victimology strongly rejects victim blaming. Okay. Victimology says that victim blaming is entirely unjust. It is sometimes we can say it is a social structure in it a kind of societal structure, or even we can say it's myth of the society, that sometimes victim blamings happen in societies, in traditional societies, also in modern societies. It happens more. It happens more in traditional societies. Particularly since I am from India, I know it happens in India, and in more cases it happens with women. Okay, so it is not a positive sign for a society. So to blame a victim, while preventing or preventive advice is useful, that one shouldn't blame the victim, criminal responsibility always lie with the offender. We should remember it, that the criminal responsibility lies with the offender. Victim has nothing to do with it. Victim is always a victim, and the responsibility lies with the offender. That's what victim blaming we learned. Now coming to rights, victim rights, which is one of the most important focused area at present in criminal justice systems. There are more advocacy about victim rights, so we must study it very carefully. Actually, modern criminal justice system, it recognizes several important rights of victims. It can be like right right of dignity, right of protection. Yes, Mr. You have asked about what is Sutherland, Edwin Sutherland. Okay, after victim rights, I will be explaining that. Okay, since I am in the middle of something, let me finish it. I will be answering that. Thank you for asking the questions. Okay, so back to victim rights. Victim rights may include a right to dignity. Okay, victims must be treated with dignity. They have the right to protection. Okay, they need to be protected. Victim protection also, there is scheme in various countries where we need to protect victims from further victimization. Okay, there need to be, or they have to have a right to participate in proceedings where permitted by law. They need the right to privacy. If someone is victim, his or her name shouldn't be published everywhere. Okay, so he or she, the victim, needs to have his or her privacy. Victim should get compensation. it can be both from the state and also can both from the offender side. Okay, so victim need to have compensation, and they have, or she or he have to have a right for compensation. And in some cases like physical assault or rape or harassment, etc. cases, victim need to have a right of medical assistance, actually immediate medical assistance. Then also right to legal aid if a victim, particularly if he is below poverty line or below any kind of poverty, that is absolute poverty or relative poverty, if he is unable to afford the legal aid in various judicial systems, like in Indian judicial systems, we have in every district there is district legal aid service authority, where victims are provided with free legal aid. Okay, so free legal aid should be a right of the victim, like in India, in every country it should be implemented. I think in most of the civilized countries and developed societies it is there. Right to rehab, victims should be rehabilitated. They have a right to go through the rehab process. They should have right for psychological counseling, which is most important in victimology, because victim actually go through a mental trauma, whether he is being robbed or theft happened to him, or raped or assaulted. Whatever happens to him, a victim always goes through a psychological trauma. So he or she needs psychological counseling, and it should be a right of victim to get free psychological counseling from the administration side. So finally, we can say that a victim-centered justice system which should seek not only punishment of offenders but also restorations of victims' lives. Simply just punishing the perpetrator or punishing the offender is not enough. We should also take care of the victims, and we should try to restore their living condition in what they were before the crime happened. So okay, that is victim rights. Mr. Zingleberry asked about Sutherland thing. Yes, Edwin Sutherland. Sutherland proposed the differential association theory, which is one of the sociological theory of crime. Edwin Sutherland. I have made a special video on differential association theory. You can go and please check what is differential association theory of Edwin Sutherland. He explained there, in that video I have explained about differential association theory of Edwin Sutherland, which this theory of Edwin Sutherland, that is differential association theory, is most important in criminology. It simply says that in a nutshell, I can tell you that Edward Sutherland view or differential association theory is that you become someone who you are accompanying with. Okay, if you are in a good situation, like you have good colleagues. Okay, I am just trying to say that, just a simple word, good or bad, I am using that. Okay, if you are with some good people, you tend to become good, you tend to copy some their good behavior. Okay, your habits and your daily routine will be the good people's behavior will be reflected on you too. But if you are with bad people, if you are in bad environment, okay, such people's behavior will be reflected on you too. So if you continuously get acquainted or engage with people who go in criminal way, who live their life in criminal way, there are more chances that you also go to that way. So that is what theoretically Edwin Sutherland proposes through differential association theory. I have explained that in details in that short concept video. You can go and visit that video of differential association theory of Edwin Sutherland. Thank you for asking that question. So coming back to victim compensation. So what is victim compensation? Actually, victims often suffer financial losses due to crime. He or she not only face financial loss but also psychological and social trauma and losses. But as we are discussing about compensation, we must also focus on financial loss. He definitely face financial loss due to the crime. It is not just direct financial loss. It can be due to medical expenses, due to rehab costs, due to loss of income. If he or she goes through the trauma, or being a victim is not that today you have become a victim or something bad happened to you and you will be returning to your work just tomorrow. It will not happen. Maybe in most of the situation it happens that 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 okay, I don't know what you are writing. Okay, for time being I'm ignoring and focusing on victim compensation. Anyway, so these expenses like loss of income if someone unable to return to work for some time due to being a victim of certain crime, maybe funeral expenses, maybe property damages, maybe due to psychological treatment, it happens. Okay, so victim compensation reflects society's commitment in helping the victim to recover. So victim compensation can be both by the state, that is by the government or the administration, who can, or in certain cases who compensate the victim by various means, by giving psychological treatment, by restoring the property, or giving monetary expenses, and even giving insurance facility or medical facilities. So even society that was a part from government or part from the administration, but as a society, we should also look into our neighbors or someone that we see that they are victim, and we should try to help him if he or she in need of help. Now coming to another related concept, that is restorative justice. What is restorative justice? It focuses on repairing harm rather than just punishing the offender. Restorative justice actually a justice system which focuses the repairing the harm. Okay, whoever is being harmed from by the crime, this restorative process of justice or restorative justice mechanism, it tries to focus on the repairing of the harm, then the punishing or the offender. Punishing the offender is often goes with retributive, okay, or retribution, where in restorative process the repairing or reparation is the main focus. It encourages the accountability by the offender. It encourages dialogue where appropriate and voluntary dialogue are being communicated between victims and offender. Community participation also necessary in restorative justice process. Victim healing is being focused. Reintegration of offenders, like whoever commits the offense is not like that if he or she is not a serial offender, if he or she is not doing it intentionally, or even if he or she does the offense but later regrets it, that yes, he or she has done that crime out of some sudden necessity, or out of provocation, or out of anything. Okay, he or she regrets that, so he or she should be, the offender should be reintegrated to the society in a good way, in a respectful manner. Okay, so restorative justice, it doesn't replace the criminal justice system in serious offenses. If the offense is like serious, okay, or heinous crime, like murder, like rape, gang rape, or child sexual assault, or like that, in such cases restorative justice mostly doesn't apply. But it may complement in appropriate cases when the crime is not so heinous, and then it can complement, the restorative justice system may complement. Well, that is restorative justice system that we learned. Now, as we have come to the end of this lecture, let's focus the victimology. We have learned victimology from various angles. Now, look into victimology from Indian point of view, from the lens of India, from the lens of Indian criminal justice system. So, the victimology has become increasingly important in India. The criminal justice system now actually recognizes victim compensation scheme in India. There are various victim compensation schemes. There are legal aids, like I have mentioned, this district legal service authorities who provide free legal aid. There are witness protection scheme in India. There are schemes like that. Previously there was more cases where witness where there were witness who were threatened. Even still there are instances all over the world where witness are threatened in some cases. So witness need to be protected, and state has the responsibility to protect witness too. Okay, so India has a scheme by law for witness protection. There need to have support services. There need of rehab programs, various rehabilitation programs, and protection of vulnerable victims. Vulnerable victims means the old age people, or the women, or whoever sexually assaulted, maybe child, or even transgenders. So these are vulnerable victims and victims of certain crimes who need actual protection, including privacy. Okay. In India, the new criminal laws, that is Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita 2023, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita 2023, and the Bharatiya Section Adhiniyam 2023, which gives the admissibility and appreciation of evidence, helping fair and adjudication. Okay. Additionally, like State Legal Services Authority and even National Legal Services Authority, NALSA that we call, they also play an important role in facilitating legal aid and victim compensation schemes. Now I would like to just roam a bit into United Nations, into the world. Actually, while looking into victimology, we have gone in depth with the subjects of victimology, and we have looked it into from Indian point of view, from the legal system of India. Now let's go, what are the United Nations declarations? Okay, UN Declaration of 1985. It is an important milestone in victim rights, that which is officially called United Nations Declaration of Basic Principles of Justice for Victims of Crime and Abuse of Power. It's a very long name actually. You need to read it somewhere in appropriate book. The name is UN Declaration of Basic Principles of Justice for Victims of Crime and Abuse of Power, 1985. This declaration was adopted in 1985. It emphasizes on respect for victims, access to justice, on fair treatment, compensation, assistance, and rehabilitation. This declaration influenced many countries. Many countries has adopted their criminal justice system in the tune of this declaration, including India, where victim-oriented policies are being strengthened after this declaration came into effect. So this is the United Nations declarations that we discussed. Now at the end, if we go with the importance of victimology, simply some questions may arise, like what is the importance of victimology? We must say that it is important because it brings victims into the center of criminal justice system. In other systems, sometimes we look the criminal justice systems from the point of view of criminal. Sometimes we see the criminal justice systems from the point of view of crime. Sometimes we look into it from the point of view of social structure which leads to the crime. But in victimology, we look into the crime from the point of view of the victim. So it brings victim into the center of criminal justice. It improves police response. It supports rehab process, also helps repeat victimization, promotes human right, improves public confidence in justice. It also encourages victim-sensitive laws and policies. Also, it strengthens crime prevention. Okay. Various policies on repeat victimization, secondary victimization, etc. These they actually helps to prevent crime or prevent the influence or impact of crime in a larger extent. So that's what victimology is. Despite what we have learned, all the good things about victimology and why we need to, what is victimology, who is a victim, or why we need to support victims, or what policies we should make towards victims and align them into our criminal justice system. Despite all the good things and positive things of victimology, there are certain criticisms also with regard to victimology. Despite its very much importance, victimology has certain limitations like other subjects or other domains having limitation. It also has some limitations. Some early victim typologies were criticized because they were appeared to assign responsibility to victims. Like there were some early, we didn't study them, but in historically there were some typologies of early victims. It was before the Benjamin Mendelssohn and Hans von Heyting's typologies. There were some ideologies by some proponents about the victims or the types of victims, but they actually appeared to assign the responsibility of crime to the victims. Okay, so that was not a historically correct thing. There is also concern that excessive focus on victim behavior may unintentionally encourage victim blaming. Okay, victim blaming may unintentionally come into focus or come into effect unintentionally, even though unintentionally. But if we focus more on victim, the victim may feel that I am so much focused because I am victim. The feeling of I am not normal, but I am victim. This is not good for a victim. I want to repeat it again. The feeling of being victim and being not normal. If someone feels that I am not a normal person, I am a victim, and this is not good for a victim. A victim should feel like a normal person in the long run. Yes, of course, it's not possible in just the next day of the crime that a victim feels just a normal person. No, it's not possible. But in due course, over times, he or she should try to forget the incident or try to not think about it, and society and the family also should help him or her in that way, that there is less focus on him or on her, on the victim, from the point of view of being a victim. Okay, he should be focused like a normal person so that he or she feels normal. Okay, so in that case, victim blaming or similar things, it gets discouraged. Okay, modern victimology therefore emphasizes empathy, dignity, human rights, and offender accountability. So that is what criticisms of victimology. Concluding the lecture 8, we must say that if we summarize victimology, it is simply a scientific study of victims of crime. Simple. It examines who becomes a victim and why victimization occurs, how victim suffers, and how criminal justice system would respond to it. So in this lecture, we have discussed meaning and development of victimology, types of victims, Mendelssohn and von Heyting's victims classifications. So these two are very important name, that is Mendelssohn and von Heyting. Okay, we must remember it. Mendelssohn and von Heyting's victim classifications or typology of victims. Next, we learned about victim precipitation theory and victim facilitation. We learned about victim vulnerability, repeat and secondary victimization, also about victim blaming, victim rights. Today we have learned victim compensation. We have also learned about restorative justice system, and we looked into lastly we looked into victimology from Indian point of view, from the criminal justice system in India, and also from the world view, from the UN Declaration of 1985. So if we want to summarize this lecture 8, we can say, if we summarize the video, we can say that crime doesn't end with the offender's arrest. True justice is achieved only when victims are heard, victims are protected, victims are compensated, they are also respected, and most importantly, victims are supported by the administration, by the society, by family in rebuilding their lives, so that victim shouldn't remain victim. They should be normal person like you and me in the society. So that's all about victimology. At the end, I would like to ask a very simple question to you. If you have studied the all three parts of lecture 8 on victimology, I would like to ask, who is the father of victimology? Many a times in this lecture, in all the three parts of lectures, I have mentioned who is the father of victimology. So please don't search in the Google, just go through the lecture, or don't ask your AI LLM. Just go through the lectures and learn from this lecture who is the father of victimology. So that's all for today. In our next lecture, that is lecture 9, we will begin to discuss in depth about penology, that is punishment system. There we will study the philosophy of punishment, theories of punishment, even we will learn about capital punishment. We'll learn about imprisonment, even probation, parole, prison administration, correctional institutions, rehab, and also some of the modern correctional approaches like open jail approaches, etc. So thank you for watching lecture 8, and thank you for being with criminology live session. I have already mentioned I mostly focused on the content, then on presentation and delivery. So please go through the content, and I would like to mention that if you are watching this as a video, when the live will be finished, please do watch it in 1.25 or 1.5x, then it would be better for you to understand. All right, thank you for watching. And if you find lecture 8 and all other videos in this course, in this live criminology course, useful or helpful to you, please do like, share, and subscribe to our Gyanonymous School. And that's all for today. Thank you, and Jai Hind.